Hey everybody, Mark here from MarkBuildsBRIX. We have another absolute fantastic build from Pantasy. This is the brand new Summit Cabin, set number 85033. We are going to put this one together for you, and we're going to review it at the different stages as we build this through. Also, just a heads up, I purchased this set. Pantasy did not send me this one for review, but hey, if you wish to buy this one, check out the links in the description. All my affiliate links will be for this set and a little cheeky discount code as well for you if you want to pick this one directly from Pantasy itself. But take a look at the box. Absolutely fantastic. We do have a bunch of minifigures that come with this as well. And here is the back of the box. It is modular. It does open up. And of course, the tram does go up the track. So let's jump into this. Let's check out this review and comment and subscribe like we always ask you to do. And sit back and relax and enjoy the review.
Welcome.
All right, so let's talk about the manuals that come with this absolutely fantastic set. 3 manuals that come with the set. As you can see, we have book 1 to 3 on the screen right there. So 1, 2, and 3. All of them have the exact same basically front. So nothing out of the ordinary on that other than a really good, fantastic photo of the actual set completed. A really cool way of showing that you're on book 1, on book 2 with a little snow, and as well book 3. So really cool on how they did that. On this side, we have a square Pantasy logo. We got the Summit Cabin logo name right here. We got the set number 85033, and of course Summit Cabin right there itself. Now, book 1 does have something new. I don't know. It's the first time I'm seeing this with this not just saying about us type scenario, but we have a really nice Pantasy logo here making it look like somebody's building it and stuff like that. So I actually like this page. This is really nice. Again, it goes into brick separator, separating all the pieces, making sure we have all the bags within the bag sets, and instructions and all that type of stuff. Going into all the social media stuff, and if you have any issues and stuff like that, QR code to scan. Like as I mentioned earlier, bags 1 to 5 is basically the first section of the review. We're going to review first. Manual, actually, this first manual goes all the way up to bag 4. So the start of manual 2 is actually bag 5. So just a heads up on that. But we're going to break this review down to bags 1 to 5, take a look at our progress, and then 6 to 10, we'll take a look at our progress as well. And then jumping into bags 11 to 15 to finish everything off. Going into everything, pretty straightforward as we are going in. Things look good. My only concern, basically, when we were going through this is there's a couple of colors that, one, it looks like it bled. So yes, it's supposed to have a stud on it, and it's a studded piece, not a flat tile, but the way the print went and stuff like that, it kind of blended in. So just be mindful if your copy, or if you're going to use it a digital, you could probably see it a lot better on the monitor. But if you got a printed copy and using it from the printed manuals, just take a look to make sure that you're grabbing the right piece. Now, my only other thing that I would suggest in the manual is, I love the inventory. The inventory is great, having what pieces you need and stuff like that. But when it comes to placing things or highlighting what piece you're actually putting in place, in this manual, the highlighted blue, the little turquoise blue or light blue that goes around the pieces that you're actually adding, was a little hard to see at times throughout. So I would have used a more contrasting color, or a color that pops a little bit more, maybe like an orange, or so it looks easier to see where things go. Because as you can see, the red arrows here, very easy to see, but when it comes to the blue highlight around that, this is the piece that we're putting in. And as well, this 1x2 right here, masonry brick, putting that in. At times it got a little hard to figure out. I got these pieces, where am I supposed to put them, right? Type scenario. So I'm just thinking as a beginner to intermediate level builders and stuff like that. Or like somebody like me, I'm an advanced builder, but I can't see because I got my glasses on, basically. Joys of getting old. But that is basically book 1. As you can see, no Easter eggs in the back of book 1. Book 2 jumps right away into bags 5, continues through with the build, stops at the end there. And we go right into manual 3 jumps right back in at bags 11 and we basically go right through getting all the tram done, and then we get everything all set up, and then basically shows you what you need to do to get the tram to actually function. As you can see, we turn the dial, it should pull the string and pull the tram right up. Easter egg, no Easter eggs that I found in the back of the manual, other than the other newest set right here is the Western Mine. Which is shown right here. But here is the set that we're building right here on this top shelf. It looks absolutely fantastic. And of course, some of these sets I do have videos and reviews of. So definitely there will be a little pop-up card on the screen that you can actually click that and it'll bring you to all the Pantasy videos that we've done so far on this channel. We got some steampunk section as well. And of course, a reminder of the 5th Pantasy anniversary at the back here, which is absolutely fantastic. And again, ends off with a Pantasy logo at the back of each of the book. So that is manual 3, 2, and 1. Those are the manuals for the set. All right, so there is the start of this fantastic summit cabin. But as you all know, we have to start with some minifigures. So there you go. There are some minifigures for you. We've got 4.5, and I'll show you in a second, because it is 4.5 minifigures, not 5 minifigures. But here are the current minifigures that we show on the screen right now. Fantastic printing on their facial expressions, as always, that Pantasy does. This one on the end here in pink, and it's got the goggles. The hairpiece itself, as you can see, it actually attaches to the hat, and then you put the hat on. So it's not like a hairpiece and then the hat. So this actually is just slides right into the back of the hat, and then boom, you're good as gold putting it on. But fantastic printing on the torsos to make it look like they've got their warm winter wear, so they can be out and about at the summit cabin, just because it is a winter type scenery. And there you have it. So great facial expressions, great printing on them. They do have a print on their legs as well, to make it look like they have boots on and stuff like that. A sit down extra feet and legs. There's no printing on any of those, but you do get the extra ones so you can actually pop them out and then be able to put them in a seating position. Then we have this side. Here we have the 4th minifigure, and as I said, a half minifigure. So we'll talk about the 4th minifigure. Looks great. Fantastic. As always, some interesting print on this person as well. And I don't know if he's got a mad face or whatever, but he doesn't seem too happy on this one. But anyways, fantastic print. Nice, interesting hairpiece to go with it as well. Now, this guy right here, he's naked. He's got better abs than me. He's in way better shape than I am. But he's only half a minifigure. So this person is supposed to be soaking in jacuzzi or the hot spring section of this build. So later on when we get to that build, you'll see where this person actually goes. But I wish it had at least some legs and stuff like that, so we can use it as an extra minifigure and say that we got 5 minifigures instead of 4.5. But I have some extra sit down legs, so we may stick some legs on him just so he can sit down in different areas if we need to pose him anywhere else in the set. But there you have it. Those are the minifigures that come with the summit cabin. Completed the first manual of the summit cabin, and there's 3 manuals for this cabin, as we mentioned earlier, but this is everything in the build. Now, the only extra part of the step is this part, the front of the cabin itself. That is actually in bags 5. Everything else in manual 1 is bags 1 to 4. So we wanted to make sure we completed the whole section, so we added bags 5 to this part of the review. But all in all, there's so much detail going on, and it is a big footprint. Let me get you this. It is basically 44 studs wide, which is basically the length of the tram itself, and 26 studs deep. So that would be from this end all the way to this end, going this way. So 44 that way, 26 that way. But basically, if you're going to have fun mills planing this one, that is going to be my option for you to help you with that. As you can see, like we said, we got lots of detail. We're going to talk about the front. So let's get into there. Nice, fantastic printed Pantasy sign. Again, make sure you take off the protected film that's on the front, and then it just some Technic pins basically hold this sign in place very well. We do have a nice little awning or roof part with some snow and some blue, and give it more of a rustic feel to it as well, which is pretty cool. And also, they're not attached, but look like we have supports holding out the front. And it looks like we have the simulation of logs basically right here, which is pretty cool. This would have been cool if we had little printed caps of wood to give that more extra detail. We got some nice little banisters. We got a nice little tiled front area. We do have a door that actually opens inward, which is pretty cool. We do have some icicles hanging off, and we do have some white flowers or some growth foliage hanging on the wall. We do have a nice little flower pot with something growing in there. We do have a nice little ice rink area. So this area here is a frozen pond area. We have some hockey pucks and a small little net and a hockey stick. So this is actually pretty cool little setup on there. Here we have kind of a directional sign. Basically, I wouldn't say street sign because there is no street. So this is more like a walking in this area. So we have nice little printed areas of where everything is in that location, which is pretty cool. Plus, we have a really cool little snowman right here in the bottom part right here. This was actually a pretty cool build. I like that we got a little custom hat for him as well. We have a nice interesting way of doing a tree with these leaves upside down to give it like a snow covered like evergreen or spruce tree. We have a lamppost. No lights are in this. Now, I would think lights would be absolutely fantastic with this set if it had a really good lighting kit. Lighting up the pond area would have been super awesome. There's so much room underneath to hide the battery pack and everything, so that would be awesome. But let's go to this way. Here is basically, this is where the cabin is going to go, and I think the hot spring is going to go right in this area as well. But like I said, we have the door that opens up on a makeshift hinges, and we do have this nice little secret push in to access underneath the tram track. Now to push this back up, you got to actually reach around and push it up with your fingers. So now speaking of the tram track, now this track is a fair amount of space that it takes up. It does move, by the way. The tram is manually powered by a string, and it's something that you're going to rotate to pull the tram up. Hopefully the tram is going to be heavy enough to pull it, slide it back down, and so on. There's also a post area and another area that's hanging off by, I think, 4, almost 5 studs, where that's going to be the so-called tram line. This simulate that's where it's going to get its power from going up the tram. Now we do have some little hidden little gems here. This is where I wish this had a lighting kit, because that area right underneath here has a nice printed pieces of fossil bones of a dinosaur. This would have been fantastic to put a light strip in here to light that up. There's a 1 stud gap between the transparent rock face and the actual printed wall pieces. So it would have been fantastic, easy to set up, and there's tons of room to put the wiring in to hide. Also, in this little corner here, you can't really see it because it's not lit up, but there is a nice little bunny here with a carrot that's hiding underneath the tram on that side as well. So there you have it. As I said, this is just basically the first manual completed for the set, and it is looking absolutely fantastic. Build quality so far, excellent. No issues with the bricks, no missing pieces. We actually had a few extra pieces, which is actually pretty good, and everything went well. Now, we mentioned a bunch of stuff in the manual, and I'll leave it to that there, where some of the pieces were a little hard to see if it had a flat tile or if it actually had a stud on it. But all in all, the blues, the dark blues and dark browns, just look at it very carefully just to make sure you got the right color and stuff like that, because they do blend in depending on if you're like me with some bad eyes, and depending on your lightings for your area where you're building. So just to make note of that. But there you have it. That is the first section of this build. All right, so we're back. Completed everything in manual 2. at this point. So everything you see here is manual 2 completed basically, but the most part of manual 2 is basically everything in this little hot springs area on this side of the building and going up and across on the second floor. And of course the 2 back walls that do open up, which we'll get to in a second. Now, if you want to join us on live streams, we've been building this one live on this channel. So make sure you got your notifications on and jump into the chat with us and hang out while we build some of these really cool sets on this channel. And don't forget to say hi, of course. But while we're building this, we have some really nice printed pieces. So again, we have a nice, here, let me just put this a little closer for you. Nice little printed piece right here on the top. We got some nice little printed texturing and awning shutters type scenario. So these are all nicely printed pieces here, which looks really good with the log simulated wall and stuff like that. Also on this deck on the balcony part that wraps around, this is all printed individual pieces. So each one of these pieces basically is the same print and it wraps right around, which looks really good. We do have a good time print sign right here, right above a bathtub, a jacuzzi type scenario. And if you're wondering from the minifigures section of this review, we had the half minifigure. Well, this is where the half minifigure guy, he goes right here. I do wish he was a full minifigure and we can just pop off the legs and then drop him in there and stuff like that. So, but he's having fun in there, that's for sure. On the second deck itself, we have a nice little lounge chair, basically, and a little table with a glass on it and a nice little telescope using these nice gold pieces as well, which is pretty cool. We do have a nice little printed sign as well on this side here, which basically just hangs right there nicely. Looks really good in the green. The door is a nice little transparent door. My door opens very freely, by the way. We do have a window treatment right here. All these 4 windows do open if you do want to push your finger through and then open it up like that. So to make it look like we're putting some air going through the cabin is purely up to you on how you want to display that. Now, coming to the back of the set, this is the rest of what we've built up as well. So we have 2 main walls that do open up. So you got your full access view of everything on the main floor. And as well, we do open up the second floor, which you have nice access to see everything in there. Now, speaking of everything on the second floor, there you have it. We did place a minifigure in the seating position using the seating legs. There is 1 stud on the red chair, which is very similar to the Opera House. So we can just pop him on very nicely. So he's right there to greet everybody that's going to be taking the tram. We have a nice little printed poster of a mountain picture on this side. We have our little moose and we have some more printed niceness here on the shelves and stuff like that. And we do have a nice little step up with a nice tiling decoration on the floor and steps up. And basically you can enter the tram on this side of that part of the building. We do have a couple of things that look like lights. And of course we do have a printed clock on the outside, I guess, for arrival times and stuff like that for everything. So these close very nicely, very easy. Once we finish building up the little loft area, this will look great. Coming down on this side, there was really nothing extra done in manual 2 for the tram section. Everything was basically just that one area of the build. But all in all, really good. We do have a little tedious part of building this up because there's a lot of snot bricks being put in stuff and everything, but it seems very loose and everything. But once you get everything in and you get these tiles put on top, it really locks everything in nicely. The other little fragile part of this build is this doorway. So just be mindful when you're putting this together and just be a little patient. Once you get it in and stuck in place, it's nice and solid, but it's a little fragile when building that part of the build. So there you have it. There's where we're at now for the the Summit cabin. And this is absolutely fantastic. It is definitely bigger than I thought it was going to be. And like I've been saying earlier, it's missing a lighting kit. I think a lighting kit would take this so overboard that it would be even fantastic to see with the lights on. And plus maybe a motor for the tram to go up and down. Who knows? Let's jump into the next section and then we can do our final thoughts of the build. Hey, check this out. We have the Summit cabin completed, fully built up, looks absolutely fantastic. We got lots of detail all over the place. on this set. As we said previous in this review, we got all this cool stuff along the bottom. We have some interesting stuff along the middle, but basically the last part of the build is the roof area, filling in the little loft at the top here, and of course building the tram itself and getting it to move up the track to the top of the cabin itself. Now, overall look and feel of it, I think this is absolutely fantastic. The colors, everything for the make it look like it's got a snow top cabin with some of the logs and everything. I think it looks absolutely great. I do love the dark blue. It also gives a nice good contrast between the white and the browns and stuff like that. So absolutely fantastic. As always, fantastic prints on all the printed pieces throughout. Even the minifigs have good prints on them as well and good facial expressions. Now, the little gentleman here at the front, technically, he has another outfit. Well, lack of an outfit. You can switch him out in theory, and he's got a little guy sitting right here, half naked, half minifigure naked, sitting in the hot tub here. It's supposed to be this guy. So you can interchange, in theory, interchange them out and stuff like that. So you can actually take his legs and put it on him if you want him to walk around topless and stuff like that from that. We got a nice little snowman, nice little walking directional signs, and we have some nice little printed pieces in the far corner near the tram to simulate pile of wood. Now, all in all, this absolutely looks fantastic as we turn it to this side. So we have all this nice little deck, everything, a nice little bird, everything like this. And of course, we do have the hot tub down at the bottom. The back itself, I'll put it right about here. Now, the back does open up. So the main floor does open up. You have lots of view to see everything inside. This is where a really good lighting package or a lighting kit would make this set just go way overboard and be absolutely phenomenal. Now, this door does open, but with the roof hanging and some of the icicles and stuff like that, you really can't open it up fully. So roof on this side is meant to just pop off like this. There's no studs holding it or anything. It just like hooks in place, and there you have it. You have a full view of the loft area with a bed, a nice little wood stove. And now the wood stove does have a couple of red transparent pieces, a 1x2 and two little 1x1 slopes to simulate that there's fire in there. Now, they don't actually attach to anything. They sit loosely. So what I did is I added a couple of 1x2s in black on either side. It keeps that in place. Plus, it gives a little bit more character to the wood stove itself. So this way you won't lose those loose pieces in that area. But now with the roof off, now we can open up the second floor and you get a full view. We do have a minifigure, as I said before, in a sit-down position in the one stud on the red seat, sitting in place, waiting for everybody to come in and basically come on and off the tram as the tram comes up the roof, or sorry, up to that second floor. Fantastic welcome sign and all that stuff as well. I'll give you a show of that. But basically, the roof itself, I have the chimney on a slightly backwards, just a heads up with the piece. It's supposed to angle in to give lack of a gap, and it's supposed to be straight. I like it on a slight angle for myself. So that's just something little that I kind of like, and I'm probably going to keep it like that because it gives it a little bit more character to it. We need to pop this into place. It just fits into the two slots, which I can't see from this angle. Slot 1, slot 2. All right, we won't be doing that right now. So let me turn this to the side. So here you have it. There's the welcome entrance into the second floor itself. And it makes it so much easier to see everything in from when the tram comes up the track. Now, speaking of the tram, because we're going to talk about the tram itself, the tram is an interesting build. Now, it is a bit of a fragile build as well, in my opinion. So the front panels are only being held on by either 4 studs, either pushed in onto snot brick, or actually on the studs going downward. So building this up, be patient. It will explode depending on where you put your pressure points and stuff like that, putting in the windows and stuff. And of course, snapping in the roof itself in place. But we have 2 nice little printed pieces on the front and back about the cart number. And of course, a nice little printed hazard sign on the bumper and in the back of the tram. Now, the tram does go up the track. The track is pretty straightforward. Nothing fancy in the track itself. There's a string attached to this little turning mechanism right here, which then attaches underneath the front of the tram right here. So by turning the string, as you can see, it does go up. So let me put it like this. There we go. So it does go up the track itself. Now, I do have one little pet peeve in the design. Now, over on this side, I don't know if you guys can see it very well. Let me just put it about there. There are two small little gear cogs that basically intertwine to each other. The bottom one that's on a blue Technic pin, when you turn it, it actually pops out all the time for me. So I don't know if it's because of the clutch of the pin going into it, that actual piece, but by basically turning it a few times and turning it a little too fast, the gears get stuck and that bottom gear piece pops out. So just to be mindful of that, if it happens to you, it's very easy. Just use your finger and push it back in. Now, my other little design pet peeve is when we get the tram to the top, here is my pet peeve right there. The tram itself is going to hit this post. So you will never get it right to the top. This post either needs to be, or sorry, the tram track at this part needs to be up at least one, maybe one or two studs to clear. The one at the bottom, perfectly fine because the tram sits high at the bottom. But this one here, it actually runs right into it itself. So as you can see, it's touching right into it right now. So you'll never be able to get it up unless you have this either moved out one stud, or this guy needs to go down one stud, or you raise the track up a bit one stud, and you should be good. It'd probably be easier just to lower this by one stud, and who knows. But the tram also goes downward. And my gear is out of whack. Now, depending how tight the track is for you, you might have to help it go back down, because you can release as much as you want, but as you can see, it gets kind of caught on the stiffness of the track itself. But once you get to a certain part and it's nice and smooth, then it actually goes back down. So there you have it. So that's the tram going up and down. Underneath the tram itself, again, you have nice little fossils of a dinosaur prints behind the transparent blue cave area. There's a nice little secret entrance on the other side from the inside the cabin to get into here. This would be great if this was fully lit up in this area. Plus, in the front under the tram itself, there's a nice little bunny underneath there. So all in all, this looks absolutely fantastic. I actually really did enjoy this build. I love the look of this. It looks fantastic. There are so much little details going on this. It was a nice, interesting way to do the tram itself. I might change the gears out to make it a little bit more smoother. And we might play with the track itself to see if we can get it to slide up and down very smoothly. But you can fully control it manually, so it's all good. So all in all, brick quality, I'm going to say 98% quality is absolutely awesome. I did have a couple of pieces that really had some clutch issues. One basically right in there where this little 1x2 that the window sits on, that one at the very bottom, that had no clutch. So luckily this all holds it in place, but basically that piece fell off. The other thing was a couple of little design snafus with the posts for the tram getting into it, and that gear cog on the other side keeps popping out. Other than that, I love it. Absolutely love it. I fully recommend it if you need a really cool winter cabin and stuff like this. There were some other great ideas to extend the track up even higher to get it to go to maybe another higher resort cabin, who knows, or maybe extend it going lower and put this one at the top type scenario. So you've got so many ideas to do in your setups for this, but then this would be beyond fantastic if it had a lighting kit. Like this, that's what it's missing on this one, is a nice, good lighting kit for this set. Other than that, you guys know what to do. Comment and subscribe. We always ask you to do. It really helps out this channel. If you wish to buy this set, check out the description. We will have our affiliated links, and we have our discount code in there, so you can actually pick this one up from the Pantasy's website and enjoy. Other than that, take care. We'll see you guys in the next review.